2,500 farmers and landowners. The Champaign County Farm Bureau is incredibly concerned about the proposed changes to the post office there on Mattis Avenue. Since 1896, the USPS has served rural America with rural-free delivery, and for that we are incredibly thankful. And as of 2022 USPS Office of the Inspector General report, 81% of rural customers view the post office as a valuable service. The CCFB is concerned that the U.S. Postal Service proposes changes to its network, that these changes will have a disproportionate impact on rural areas. Members of the Champaign County Farm Bureau have already voiced their concerns about both the sluggishness of the delivery of mail in rural parts of the county and the reduced service hours at their local post office in our small towns. This plan would seemingly further exacerbate both of those situations. You've heard from several other commenters about issues around jobs, about issues around prescription deliveries and election issues, but I want to focus on issues near and dear to farmers' hearts. And you may laugh at me, but that's checks in the mail. Farmers still rely to both send and receive payments for input purchases and grain sales in the mail. In fact, the annual bushel State of the Farm report found that 70% of grain settlements nationally are being paid by a paper check and sent in the mail. And anecdotally, in talking with our local elevator cooperatives, well over 50% of local grain checks are being dropped to the post office and going through the Mattis Avenue facility. To put it simply, we farmers don't Venmo. And we depend on the USPS to make sure these payments are received in a timely manner by all parties involved. So I guess my question to you tonight is, how will you ensure that, as you state in your nice little handout here, your good business decisions won't impact our ag businesses? Farmers and those living in rural America still depend on the post office to deliver to that last mile. And I certainly hope that any decisions made by the Postal Service about the status of the Mattis Avenue facility will take into account the input of all stakeholders impacted by any potential changes. Thank you.
My name is Kathy Shannon. I am another Champaign City Council member. I agree with everything that has been said by everybody before, and I don't want to repeat everybody's concerns about jobs and election mail and checks and businesses and all these things. So I want to bring forth 3 of my own concerns that nobody has brought up yet. First of all, while I appreciate the idea of adding infrastructure for EVs, and I absolutely think the post office should be switching to EVs, in the climate crisis that we are in now, it is appalling to think that it's a good idea to take mail an extra 200 miles there and back to the South Chicago Processing Center, and somehow that's going to decrease emissions. That is absolutely not true. And I don't see how, as a state, as a country, as a planet, we're going to meet our climate goals by making short-sighted decisions like this. So that's one point. Another point I want to make that I haven't seen anybody bring up is the idea of resiliency. Modern, forward-thinking businesses are actually looking to increase backup. What this kind of centralization and consolidation does, what if something happens to the South Chicago processing facility? A tornado, a fire, a gun violence event, the roof leaks. Suddenly there is nowhere else to go. And the entire state of Illinois is losing our mail processing. And that makes our Postal Service much more delicate in an age that we need it to be more robust. Because our weather events are